And what bothers me a lot, and the reason that I'm here, and the reason we were in Morgantown, West Virginia earlier today, is that some 50% of the American people don't know what's in this disastrous bill. Tonight we're going to talk about what's in this disastrous bill.
Hey, it's Jordan with the Young Turks, TYT Politics. I'm in Covington, Kentucky. This is the Improve the Affordable Care Act rally. There seems to be, at this point, I'd say over 1,000, and more people are trickling in. Bernie Sanders is going to be talking, I think, around 7 o'clock. Kentucky, if you don't know, is actually ranked 47th in the country on the healthcare rankings, and they have a wonderful senator named Mitch McConnell, bastion of progressivism, cares a lot about healthcare. Have a TYT fan. What's your name?
My name's Shannon Shipley.
And where are you from?
I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, but Kentucky originally.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. It's only like 20 minutes away, Cincinnati from Kentucky. I wanted to ask you first, so we're about I think 7 months since Trump took office. Did you vote for Trump, Bernie?
I did actually vote for Bernie Sanders as a write-in.
Okay.
So,
and how do you feel in terms of you voted for Bernie? Obviously, he's been trying to kind of unify with the Democratic Party. Have you liked what you've seen? Do you think we should be unifying with the Democratic Party? Would you like to see Bernie kind of, roll up his sleeves and say enough is enough and go his separate way?
the thing that is really standing out to me is that there is an ideal of where we need to be and where we want to be, but it's a journey. And I know that Bernie understands that working with the Democratic Party is important, but he knows that's not the end picture and not the end game, and it's not where we're going. I have faith that the people will come to an understanding and work together. And the more people work cooperatively and get the word out and talk to their neighbors and be kind to people who think differently than you and have conversations and ask people questions. Mm-hmm. I think that if everyone makes an effort to do that, that it'll spread. So
Bernie Sanders wants to go out and listen to people. He wants to meet them, and he wants to say, this is what I want for you. Is this what you want for you? It's about people feeling heard. You can go a long way when people feel like they are acknowledged and their existence. People say, yes, you matter. And I think when people don't feel like they matter, that's when people get angry, and people get desperate when they get angry. History has shown us that.
As a Kentucky citizen, do you feel like, wow, how is it that Kentucky would go for someone like Trump? And how is it that Kentucky doesn't wake up to what people like McConnell are doing? I mean, Bernie almost won the primary here, but it seems like the mass populace don't have good health insurance, yet they're sticking with Republicans.
And I think the issue here is that they haven't, in a general election, they have not been given a real progressive candidate, and they have not been properly, they haven't been allowed to hear the other side of the argument, for Medicare for all or, some sort of universal health care program. I think that's the real issue here, that we don't have that voice here. People, the Democratic establishment especially, does not feel like Kentucky can be a Democratic state. People don't think we can turn it blue, which I think it 100% can be turned blue.
Wait. You mean the Democratic establishment that has lost over 1,000 seats? 1,000 seats over the last 8 years? The Democratic establishment who lost to an orange orangutan? That Democratic establishment?
That Democratic establishment, exactly. And, I just think if we had a progressive, say, actually make it to the general and run against, say, Mitch McConnell or even Rand Paul, I think that person could easily win, as long as they had the funding and, the proper channels to go through. But that's the issue. I think there is a real reluctance within the establishment and, the Democratic Party in general in Kentucky, especially the KDP. Yeah.
Hey, show the camera. We got a fuck Trump. You look beautiful, by the way. So I assume you voted for, who'd you vote for in the primary?
I actually voted for Jill Stein because I was afraid to write Bernie in. But Bernie's my man,
Okay. So let me ask you, because I give a little tough love sometimes to Bernie. I think that he's playing ball with the establishment. You've been around the block. Do you think that you like what you're seeing from Bernie right now? Obviously, we like this.
From Bernie, and I think the establishment has fucked Bernie. That's what I think.
Tell me more.
I want to see more of Bernie. I think the Democratic Party shoved it to him bad, threatened him. That's what I believe.
In my opinion, the Republican Party is selfish, and this is just a profit view on healthcare. It's not seen as a right, it's seen as a privilege, and that is why I'm here for Bernie, because he's here to improve it, not to just throw it out the door. I think it can be improved. That's why I voted for Bernie. I knew he could improve it, but here we are just trying to throw something away that could be potentially good.
And do you think that you look at Bernie's been doing a lot of kind of negotiating with the Democratic establishment? He's tried to kind of play ball. A lot of people want him to go independent, or well, he is independent, but really go against both parties, the Republicans and the Democrats. But obviously, right now, he's trying to work within the system. Do you think that's the right move for him?
I think it is the right move for him because it's not about party. It's more like he can sway from each side. I think we can all gain a lot of wisdom from him on the Republican side or on the Democratic side. So I think going independent from him, he does have potential to move forward with that. I do.
Are you okay with how Bernie's post-election strategy has been? He's done rallies with Chuck Schumer.
Absolutely right. I think he's done exactly everything he should be doing. I was proud of Bernie when he ran for president, and I'm still proud of Bernie.
I am here tonight in Covington for two reasons. First, obviously, I want to talk about this so-called Republican health care bill, which, to my mind, is the worst and most dangerous piece of legislation ever proposed in the modern history of our country. I want to talk about something else that troubles me very much, and that has to do with the state of our democracy and representative government, and how it could be that the leader of the U.S. Senate, Senator McConnell of this state, could be working so hard to destroy the Affordable Care Act, legislation, as you have just heard, which has benefited this state more than any other state in America. I don't get it. It is not Bernie Sanders, it is the AARP, the largest senior group in this country, who disagrees with this legislation because they understand what a disaster it will be for seniors and for older workers. It is the American Medical Association, our doctors, who understand what a disaster this will be in terms of them providing the care that we all need. It is the American Hospital Association that disagrees with this legislation because they fear that if this bill is passed, rural hospitals all over America may be forced to close down. It is the American Cancer Society, the American Heart Association, the American Academy of Family Physicians, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Psychiatric Association, the Federation of American Hospitals, the Catholic Health Association, the American Lung Association, the Cystic Fibrosis Association, the March of Dimes, the National MS Society, and the American Nurses Association. Here is the great irony of what is going on in Kentucky. Here in Kentucky, the truth is that no state in America has benefited more from the Affordable Care Act than this state. As the mayor told you, since this legislation was implemented, the uninsured rate for adults in Kentucky has gone from over 20% in 2013 to just over 7% in 2016. That's right. That is the largest reduction in the number of uninsured in the United States of America. Congratulations, Kentucky. Our job is to improve the Affordable Care Act, not destroy it. And as soon as we defeat this disastrous bill, I will be introducing a Medicare for All single-payer program.
So I will end with this. The bottom line is, listen, we didn't get here because of Donald Trump, but we're here now, and Donald Trump is going to make it worse. So I think that, bottom line, Bernie Sanders came here. A lot of people want to hear him doing rallies for Medicare for all. But if your house is on fire, you got to focus on your house on fire before focusing on like the new house you want to buy, because you don't want to lose your house. And if you have your family in that house that is on fire, you're going to focus on that, not like how the future home and civilization you could build. So I think it's a good thing that Bernie's coming out to these places. I also think people don't realize Bernie went down to Mississippi. Bernie just went to West Virginia today. Bernie's going to all these red states, slowly but surely. I talked to a lot of people who are cynical saying, oh, it's not going to make a difference. It's too Republican. You'd be surprised. Let me tell you something. Donald Trump, I covered his campaign. I was on the road. Donald Trump ran fraudulently with a lot of progressive policies. And those Republicans liked those progressive policies, like talking crap on NAFTA and the TPP and no more wars. I said at the time, this is all nonsense. Trust me, he's not going to follow through. And now we know that. But the bottom line is, when Republicans hear progressive policies, they don't hear progressive. They don't hear socialism. They hear, oh shit, I could actually make more money. Oh shit, I'll be more secure. It's a whole new day. And even your Republican uncle watching or your establishment auntie, even they are susceptible, because I've convinced a few people over the last year. So Bernie doing these things is a good thing. I think if you don't know, just for the update, this Trumpcare that he came to speak about, John McCain on the Sunday shows this morning said he doesn't think it's going to pass through the Senate, and more Republican senators are coming out now and saying, I think we're going to have to work with the Democrats because they just don't have the votes. So if you want to give Bernie credit for that, sure. I think that's a stretch, but I love my man Bernie, so we'll give him some credit. But I don't think this Republican health care bill as is going through. And you want to know why? Because people are getting out of their homes and they're fighting back, going to rallies, going to protests, going to community meetings, and going to town halls where these Republicans came back. They're going back Monday. They were on another break because these people don't work. I've never met I don't know any profession that gets this much time off and gets paid that lavish of money, but that's a different topic. So stay tuned. Ty and I are going to try to get a lot of this content out on youtube.com/TYTpolitics. We are driving tomorrow to Flint, Michigan. I've been getting a little criticism. Jordan, how many times are you going to go to Flint, Michigan? Like, give it a rest. Give it a rest. Go cover other things. My answer to you is as many times as humanly possible until the water is clean and the people are made whole. And you know what? They're never going to be made whole completely. But this isn't just about Flint, Michigan, to these trolls and these other idiots who want to complain, that I'm not an octopus and I don't cover every story under the world. This is about America. If you ignore Flint, Michigan, if you don't cover it, then you normalize American citizens being poisoned. Plain and simple. If you choose to just let them fend for themselves, and that's what they're doing, folks. The governor in Michigan, a lot of other officials poisoned those people in Flint. If you want to give them the benefit of the doubt that it wasn't intentional, that's fine. I don't have proof that it was intentional, so we'll say that. But you know what has been intentional? The response. And let me tell you something. Where I live, on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, if our water was poisoned, they would be sending smart water to us, to our homes. The National Guard could be in probably 6 months, in six days, and it would be fixed in 2 months. I got a little story for you. Vice President Mike Pence, he was the governor of Indiana before he became vice president. There's a town called East Chicago, Indiana. Ty and I went. Predominantly black and Latino. Has a similar situation to Flint, just as bad, just different circumstances. Pence, as governor, he didn't go down there once. He denied them disaster relief. You know what Pence did a few months before that? He went down to Greentown, Indiana, a 96% white town that had lead in its water. It was fixed in 2 months. And don't get me wrong, that should have been fixed. I don't care if you're white, black, brown, or purple. that should be fixed. But that's not just racism. That is it's genocide. There's people in Flint that have died. And there's people in East Chicago who have died and didn't know they died because of the contamination. So I don't care, if you want to criticize me, that's fine. But the bottom line is, journalism isn't only about what will go viral. Journalism isn't only about what is easy or what is sexy. Journalism is about putting a light and exposing corruption and injustice. That's what it was in the old days, like long, long ago, before the corporations took power of our media. So I'm going to keep doing it. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you.